Tonight, how the municipal election could affect taxpayers' wallets in Regina. Why people on the front lines in Saskatoon think City Hall needs to get creative on community safety.
Comfortable cushion here about to finish off the Riders.
And the Riders miss a trip to the Grey Cup as the Regina Rams prepare for a championship game of their own.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
I'm Ethan Williams in for Sam McKeag. Thanks for joining us. People will head back to the polls tomorrow to elect mayors, councils, and school boards across Saskatchewan. And many Regina voters will be thinking about what their money should be spent on. Alexander Kwan reports.
This municipal election, there are competing visions of the role of City Council. One is improving the aging amenities in Regina by building a new pool or a new central library. The other is focusing on the basics. It's a big enough topic that former Mayor Pat Fiacco decided to weigh in, endorsing mayoral candidate Lori Bresciani.
We take care of pipes. That's what municipal governments do. Pavement and parks. Those are the three fundamentals.
This election, there are 11 candidates running for mayor and 53 candidates running for 10 councillor positions. Bresciani and other candidates are advocating for fiscal restraint when it comes to big projects, such as replacing the Lawson Pool.
Taxpayers of Regina are tired of just saying, just put it on the tax roll. No, we have to do better.
Residents have expressed similar concerns.
We need a change here in Regina, especially.
We have more important things than infrastructure where we need to build a new pool.
I'm a new property owner, so for me, property taxes is something that I'm considering as well.
Incumbent Mayor Sandra Masters is trying to convince voters that a new aquatic center is worth the $245 million price tag. It's a bill city staff say is the result of inflation on construction prices. Masters says this is also the consequence of poor planning.
I think the fact that we didn't start planning for it and preparing for it in 2009 has cost the taxpayers of the city of Regina millions of dollars. So if we would like to cost them millions more, I suppose we can wait.
Regina has not built a new indoor pool since 1990, and Masters says replacing things means spending money. She points to her fiscal record to push back against critics who view her as a spend-heavy politician.
We have managed within the last 4 years to keep mill rate increases under the rate of inflation.
Election day is Wednesday, and polls open at 9 a.m. and close at 8 in the evening. Shortly after that, we'll know which vision Regina residents prefer. Alexander Kwan, CBC News, Regina.
In Saskatoon, meanwhile, community safety is top of mind for voters. We've heard from the candidates, but what do people on the front lines say will improve community safety? Jeremy Warren finds out.
This apartment renovation might not look like it, but it's crime prevention in action. The project is being done by Build Up, a Saskatoon program that offers trades training and jobs for people with criminal convictions.
The best way to fight crime is with a job. You give people employment. This is the way that you can create community safety through giving folks an opportunity to enjoy some personal prosperity. They have the opportunity to make a legit living. They can support themselves, their families, and their communities because, fundamentally we don't believe that crime is a choice, it's an outcome.
Saskatoon's mayoral candidates have talked a lot about community safety. They agree it's a serious issue, but they can't agree on what to do. Where to put emergency shelters, how many to open, more policing. Frontline workers say business as usual isn't going to work.
Here at our community legal clinic, community safety means somewhere that's safe for everyone, where everyone feels like they're a valued member, that everybody's treated with dignity and respect. But we hear a lot of rhetoric and grandiose statements, but actual explicit plans are lacking.
A U of S study looked at Build Up participants and found that its employees are at a lower risk to reoffend. Build Up has also helped mothers find stability and reunite with their kids.
We're in unique times. I often hear common sense solutions and back to basics. We need good sense solutions. These are not common times. We don't need common responses. This requires some creativity and some imagination, and we just need people to be courageous.
Timashik says the positive results for his program prove it's working. and he hopes the people in municipal politics will pay attention. Jeremy Warren, CBC News, Saskatoon.
And you can join us here tomorrow night to watch the results of civic elections across the province. You can stream Saskatchewan Decides 2024 on our website or our CBC Saskatchewan YouTube channel. And in addition to the results, we will have analysis from outgoing councillors, hear from some newly elected candidates, and have reporters in the field at city halls and campaign headquarters. Saskatchewan Decides 2024 starts when the polls close tomorrow at 8 p.m. Saskatoon Public Library workers walked off the job today. They are demanding better wages and safer working conditions. Union members picketed at the Francis Morrison Central Library. Their employer says it is deeply disappointed by the decision to strike. The library says there have been constructive talks and an offer was presented, but it has not heard back. The union, however, says there was a verbal offer in mediation, but says it was rescinded the next morning. Library workers on the picket line says issues have existed for years.
10 years ago, I saw my first OD in the library, and ever since then, every time I walk into a bathroom, I take a step back and take a deep breath, and it's like that for everybody.
CUPE says workers will be back in libraries tomorrow. Both sides will be meeting Tuesday afternoon to determine next steps. Radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in Canada, with an estimated 3,000 people dying as a result every year. Testing for radon is essential, and now you can get the tests for free at the Regina Public Library. Radon is an odorless radioactive gas that seeps into homes through cracks and gaps in the foundation. You can purchase radon detectors, but they can cost upwards of $150 or more. Now all you need is a library card to borrow one.
We have 30, but they're in very high demand, so that it's really hard to come by at the library, but the waiting list is not too long. So if you put a hold on it through the catalog, it will come available in a few weeks for you, and then you can run your test at your home.
And if you don't want to wait for one at the library, Lung Saskatchewan also offers testing kits on its website for $65. It is recommended you test your home for radon and consider mitigating any air quality issues if higher radon levels are detected. Well, the ballots have all been finally counted in the provincial election, and for one Saskatoon candidate, it was a very stressful few days waiting to find out if she was elected. In the end, NDP candidate April Chiefcalf was declared the winner over the Sask Party's David Buckingham. She sat down to chat with Saskatoon Morning's Stephanie Massicott.
I was feeling quite overwhelmed. It was a real nail biter, right up till the last few moments of waiting for the final vote count to come in. I was a little bit nervous.
Did you expect it to be so close?
I think we knew that we were in a tight race in Westview. So yes, I did expect it to be fairly close, yes.
How did you deal with the suspense of waiting days and days for the final result? I mean, it wasn't just hours, it was, over a week.
I spoke with other colleagues who had been in a similar situation, and they reassured me that everything was going to be okay. I spent time with family. I cleaned my house. I just found ways to occupy my mind.
To distract yourself.
Yes.
Why did you want to run for the NDP?
I've always been NDP. Ever since I was a kid, I've been NDP. And I think that for me, Bill 137 was definitely the motivation for me to sort of step it up and get into politics and try and make some good changes in our society.
Why is that?
I feel that sometimes governments make decisions. I worked for NORPAC for 16 years, and that program was closed down with very little consultation. And I think it's very important to have people in government, whether it's opposition or in government, that are really paying attention to the needs of people and to really consult and listen to what they think needs to be done.
So what will your priority be for your constituency?
Well, over the course of canvassing, we started in May. And people expressed a number of concerns to me that I think are definitely priorities. So the top three for the NDP: healthcare, education, affordability. I also spoke with a lot of seniors who expressed concerns to me about their issues, as well as people who are really concerned about the number of people who are unhoused in the city. So those will be top priorities for me to take those issues forward and represent Saskatoon Westview in the legislature.
Well, who says the calendar needs to read December in order to put up the Christmas decorations? Well, there may not be snow on the ground, but that's not stopping some people from getting an early start on setting up the candy canes and the snowmen. There is some moisture on the way, but will it finally be the white stuff? Riley Lachuk has the answer in his forecast when we come back. Bev Priestman will not be returning as Canada women's soccer team's head coach after an investigation into a drone flying scandal.
I can't imagine Bev Priestman's going to be coaching the national team in the future. No matter how well the Canadian women's team does in the future, this will be their shadow. And so maybe that's the punishment going forward, right? Coaches losing their jobs and technicians, I don't know, we'll have to figure that one out.
A Canada Soccer staff member was caught using a drone to record a New Zealand women's soccer team practice. They were Canada's first opponent in the Paris Olympics this summer. The Saskatchewan Roughriders season ended with a whimper. Corey Mace led the Riders to a second-place finish in the West, but the Green and White were humbled Saturday in Winnipeg. Now the attention turns to the off-season. Adam Hunter has the details.
And the Bombers are going back to the Grey Cup.
The Winnipeg Blue Bombers continued their dominance of the West Division on Saturday, cruising to a 38-22 victory in the West Final. Usually stout Riders defense could not stop Zach Collaros and the Bombers, while the Riders offense sputtered.
It's tough because I got to tell you, we had a good week of practice last week. We went into the game confident. We're clear that's not enough. But in saying so, I do think that we're close to building something very special here.
Mace says his game plan was not good enough. The 38-year-old coach vows to be better in his second year as a CFL bench boss. But there are questions about his 38-year-old quarterback.
I laid awake thinking a lot last night, just absolute pit in my stomach all night. Still hasn't gone away. I don't know if it's jealousy that other people get to play football or if it's just that, you know, could be it with this group, and yeah, it's tough.
Harris will be 39 when next season kicks off. He's coming off a devastating leg injury last year and is a free agent.
The process kind of starts now as, you know, does this organization have a chance if I'm here? And if the answer is no, I don't want to be here because I care about this organization way too darn much. They deserve top tier of everything. And if I'm not that, I should walk away, and I will.
Mace says he and General Manager Jeremy O'Day will start working on the 2025 season. The decision on Harris and other free agents will need to be made. Much of the Rider defense is headed to free agency, including most of the defensive line and starters Jameer Thurman and Marcus Sales. But Mace says he believes the Riders have a strong core, and he's confident heading into next season. Adam Hunter, CBC News, Regina.
But while the Riders are done for the season, the University of Regina Rams storybook run rolls on. The Rams upset their provincial rivals, the U of S Huskies, 19-14 on Saturday. The Rams have now won back-to-back playoff road games. Their test is tougher, though, with the 7-1 Laval Rouge et Or coming to town. Regina will host its first-ever national semifinal on Saturday afternoon at Mosaic Stadium. The Rams finished the regular season at 3-5, but Coach Mark McConkey says his team's confidence is high.
The Big Red Machine is what we call them, and we're just excited to go compete against the best. It's another opportunity to prove everyone wrong. We've been the underdog in every game. We were favored in one game against Calgary, and we actually lost by 3. So it's just I assume we're not going to be the favorites against Laval, as we shouldn't be, but just excited for another opportunity to compete against a really well-coached team and one of the best teams in U Sports.
The Rams and Rouge et Or will kick off at 2 o'clock at Mosaic Stadium on Saturday. The school won its only other appearance in the Mitchell Bowl back in 2000.
The weather update is brought to you by Capital GMC Buick Cadillac. Year-end clearance is on now.
Well, a bit of a cloudy one today through Regina and southern Saskatchewan, but we still can't complain about those temperatures. Still sitting at 6 degrees right now outside of Regina. Riley Lachuk is here now with a look at our full forecast. Hi, Riley.
Well, Ethan, certainly not as windy as we saw yesterday across parts of the province, but yes, still hanging on to some of those above seasonal temperatures for this time of the year. Regina getting up to 8 through the late afternoon today. 9 degrees make that. 8 in Weyburn, Assiniboia, 9 into Saskatoon as well, and even a double digit in Outlook at 10 degrees, 12 in Maple Creek. So yeah, we're still hanging on to some of these above seasonal temperatures. Southerly flow has been ushering in some of that warm air once again today. We have introduced a bit of cloud through the daytime today, though, and radar even picking up a little bit of instability now into southeastern parts of the province as we get through into the evening hours here. I think that's a pretty slim chance, especially the further south and east you are in the province, that we will see maybe a couple of showers through the overnight period. So area of low pressure over northern sections that brought a bit of snow, that is now pushed off into Manitoba over the Hudson Bay coast. Starting Wednesday, a mainly sunny sky. We are looking at a much brighter day ahead for the day tomorrow. Short-lived, though, and I'll explain why, because if we look here as we head into the later part of Wednesday, we do start to introduce a bit of cloud cover once again, this ahead of our next area of low pressure that will swing through, bringing us a fairly good chance of some rain as we head into the early part of Thursday morning. Saskatoon, I've got a slim chance of showers through the day on Thursday, but mainly this is for areas like Regina, Swift Current into Kindersley. Can't rule out a couple of showers as we get through parts of central Saskatchewan, though, as we get into parts of the day on Thursday. In terms of snowfall to come, couple centimeters, if that, through northern sections. More of a rain event, though, as we get through the day on Thursday. For southern sections, though, to the tune of even 2 to 5 millimeters out of the question. Could see some higher pockets, though, through that central part of the province as we get through the day on Thursday. So as mentioned, another bright day tomorrow, 8 degrees under the sunshine. I have got that slim chance we could see some showers as we get through the day on Thursday. But look at some of these overnight lows sinking below zero once again. Friday, partly cloudy, 4 degrees. And then, yeah, there's a good chance that we could see some flurries or some rain showers, really temperature dependent through the early part of Saturday at the freezing mark, just above for your daytime high, and then jumping back up above seasonal as we get into next week. For Saskatoon, mainly sunny tomorrow as well, 6 degrees. Slight chance that we could see a couple of showers as we get through the day on Thursday. And again, some of these overnight lows sinking closer to seasonal for this time of the year. Sun and clouds for Friday. And then, Ethan, we enter a very sunny and above seasonal stretch of temperatures once again for Saskatoon. Could see some breezy conditions on Monday before our temperatures really slip back to more seasonal conditions into early next week.
All right. Thank you, Riley.
The painting will decide the pace, so we can't say, well, it's ready in a year or it's ready in 2 years. No, I think the varnish removal will probably be around a year, and then you can really see what the damages are, how we have to restore it in the best way possible.
One of the most famous paintings in the world is undergoing a very delicate restoration. The painstaking process of refurbishing Rembrandt's The Night Watch will take years. The huge wall-sized canvas was painted in 1642. The next stage will involve the most extensive restoration of the artwork to repair damage and help preserve it for future generations. The painting will remain on display throughout the process. Stay with us. We're back after the break. A Regina athlete continues to fight for her life south of the border. 2 weeks ago, golfer Hii Kroer suffered a brain bleed while attending a college in Michigan and needed emergency surgery. The former Miller High School student is showing signs of improvement while her family and friends rally around her.
Hii, after a workout down in
in a fair state. She wasn't feeling quite right. She's having headaches, and it kind of started to escalate from there. And a friend of hers kind of recognized that, you know, this was something maybe a little bit serious. So they went into the hospital, and she was having a CT scan at the time, and she actually coded. And then things kind of escalated even further, where they airlifted her to another hospital, and they had to perform an operation to relieve a brain bleed. She's recovering. There's a lot of unknown at this point. We're just kind of sitting back and hoping and praying, and you know, Trevor and Carla are by Hallie's side and just trying to be there for her when she, you know, decides she's going to open her eyes again. Everything's out of their control. It's just a matter of waiting. You know, Hallie's just the sweetest girl. She's developed into quite the athlete, and she's a pretty determined girl, and all that hard work that she puts into everything is kind of what got her to where she is with golf. And she's going to fight with everything she's got. You know, she's earned everything that she's gotten in golf, and she's going to prove how tough she is with this process as well, and really fight to, you know, get back to her regular self. You know, there's only so much we can do from so far away. The GoFundMe was just a way to, you know, gather money and have the family be able to do with it what they need it for. What I want is, you know, Hallie to recover and the Kroer family to be back home and healthy and safe.
And that is it for us tonight. And don't forget to join us here tomorrow for our municipal election coverage. We are here at 6 with the latest on that and the other news of the day. And then you can join us on cbc.ca/Sask or the CBC Saskatchewan YouTube channel at 8 o'clock for Sask Decides 2024. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you then. Have a great night.